Hey guys, so if you bought a stainless clutch pin, these are what you're going to need to install it. You'll need a mallet or hammer, a 7mm or a 9/32 socket or wrench. You'll need an extension with a socket on it. You could use whatever you have handy. This is a 15mm socket and just a extension. And you might need a drill and this little cone sanding bit that is included as well. Let's get started. So you have your trans. The first thing you're going to want to do is obviously remove the old plastic clutch pivot pin. Now is actually a really good time to do some other maintenance inside your transmission, like the input shaft seal and also the rear output shaft seals and shift selector seal as well. So once you have the old pin out, you're going to want to do a good job of cleaning that hole out there. Make sure you use some brake cleaner or something, get all the grime and grease out of there and stuff like that. You're going to take your stainless pin, just going to do a test fit. Now I'm not going to go all the way in, I already know this fits, but slide the pin in. It should go, halfway, maybe a little bit more inside there. And if it does, you're probably okay to continue on. But if there's any sort of burr or nick or something in there, you just want to make sure everything's cleaned out. Take your little cone sanding end there, and you're just going to want to basically kind of go around it, make sure it's all clear. Do the same coming through the back side, and do the same on there. Make sure everything is good to go. Now you're going to take your pivot pin. You could put a little bit of grease or anti-seize on here. Make sure the fitting is not installed on it. You're going to put it in. Make sure it gets in there pretty well. Then you're going to take your tool that you're going to use to knock it in. I have just a extension with a 15mm socket. The reason why I use a 15mm is because it actually bottoms out on this outer part at the bottom. All the work on the pin and all the contact point is on top. So even if you do make a mark on this bottom part, it's not going to affect anything since nothing actually touches there. So take it, make sure it's lined up, take your hammer or mallet and you'll hear it bottom out in there. You can use your nail just to make sure it is seated. Pick you up over here and show you. So it is seated in there, and you'll see it just kind of a little proud over here. This one has gotten a little marred up from me kind of using it as an example in and out quite a few times. So it's going to be a little proud there, or flush. And then you're going to take your grease fitting and we're going to install it. I have a spare bell housing here, so it's a little bit easier than working on the floor. You'll use, like I said, your 7mm or 9/32 socket, and you could basically go all the way in by hand. You're going to want to just snug it up with your ratchet, and you're not going to want to tighten it too much. Just nice and snug is fine. And I'll show you here, and you can see pictures on the website. The fitting is not going to sit flush. The fitting has tapered threads so that it can seal on those tapered threads. It will sit almost flush, but there will be a little gap between the pivot pin and the base of the fitting. That is perfectly normal. As long as it's snug in there and tight, you're good to go. Take some grease, put it on here by hand. I mean, you could put grease in it and pump it out and then rub it on, but just for now, for the first install, you could just take some, put it on, and you'll be good to go.